Hi Hires, we are in the Metabolism and Survival unit and starting off with an overview of metabolic pathways and routes. So to start off this entire unit we need to look at what metabolism is. So it is the sum total of every single chemical reaction that's going on inside the cell. And we split that up in two ways. So our two ways are catabolic, that's reactions that release energy breaking a larger molecule into a smaller one. So the obvious example for that is respiration, which you're going to need to know in quite a lot of detail. And then anabolic, and that's reactions that require energy because you're building larger molecules from smaller. So an example of that would be taking amino acids and building them up into proteins. So catabolic and anabolic together give you metabolic processes. When you're given a normal reaction within a cell, you're normally given it as a summary. And that's because that works nicely. We say glucose and oxygen gives you carbon dioxide, water and ATP. We go, that's fine, great, not a problem. However, that is not the truth in terms of what's happening inside the cell. That is going to be lots and lots of little reactions going on to make that up. Now, as I say, you're going to need to know respiration in a whole lot more detail than you did in NAT 5, but you know, for a start in NAT 5, glucose to pyruvate, pyruvate to and moving on, you know, so you already know there's multiple steps. Every single step is going to have an enzyme, and if we put those all together, we get a metabolic pathway. So if we want to look at metabolism inside cells, we have to control these pathways, and there are lots of ways we could do that. So the obvious thing is we could influence which substrates you actually have. So if you want to break down glucose, you need glucose available, but if there isn't glucose, then you can actually put in other things into respiration pathway, and that would allow you to use a different pathway. Okay, they are extremely responsive. If we look at this pathway, okay, just A to B to C to D, okay, several really straightforward. These are irreversible stages because I just have a single arrow, and we've got 3 enzymes involved. So you could do all sorts of things to control this pathway. So we can stick in another enzyme. Here we've got a reversible step. So you could choose how much relatively is converting B to C, because we could increase 4 to take it back again. We can have alternate pathways. So we could have B by enzyme 5 going to E, and then E going to F by enzyme 6, and then up to D with 7. So you could choose that as an alternative pathway if you wished. Say C was being required for something else and was being taken away, you could go down the other way. And it could also link into other pathways entirely. So you could have G in an entirely different pathway, which is actually linked to E, and that gives you 8, which is an alternative route to D. There are so many ways. Link them all up, and we have something that is at least an attempt to see what's going on inside our cells. And it's just super, super complicated. No matter what we do, we are very complicated things. If we look at just a couple of these, here's carbon fixation, which is the second stage of photosynthesis. There are lots of things inside here. Citric acid cycle, there are lots of different parts in here, and you'll notice that this is linked into the urea cycle, which is your waste management for amino acids. It is also linked into fatty acids, which is part of your fats digestive system and synthesis. We've got everything linking up basically. You'll notice a very little one in there, pyruvate, which you absolutely should know, and there are more that we will put together. But it's just to give you an idea. Everything connects, everything has potential for control. They are integrated sets of enzyme catalyzed reactions. They will be anabolic and catabolic, and they're all controlled to give you the overall cell metabolism. If you're looking at the pathways, check for irreversible and reversible steps and look for alternative routes. All of these, again, give you potential control. And that's us.